Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing the REW measurement portion of this REW tutorial videos that I'm doing right now. So the first video, I took you through how to get it all set up and ready to start taking measurements for PC. The first time I did this, I did it on Mac. So if you want to know how to do this on Mac, go ahead and watch that video, which I will link in the description below. But for this one, it's going to be on PC. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to take the measurements, what to do, what settings to use, and then we're going to go over that data a little bit. And then a part 3 video will be using that data, analyzing it, interpreting it, and then using that data to calibrate the system. So there are a few things that are not necessarily essential, but do make it easier when you're calibrating and measuring your system with REW. So they're not 100% necessary, but they do make things pretty helpful. One is just basic tape measure. Two is an SPL meter. And that's helpful because even though REW does have an SPL meter built in the software, it does help to compare the two to make sure things are accurate. And the next thing to have, which is very, very helpful, which I do recommend, is a good quality or just decent quality mic stand for your REW, U-MIK, or U-MIK 2, or whatever calibration mic you happen to be using. Especially one with a telescoping boom arm, which you will see shortly, because it allows you to position the tripod part outside, and then you can use the boom, extend it, lift it, raise it, turn it, do everything you need. So it is quite helpful to have that. So one thing I want to address real quick is that I missed my normal scheduled upload time for these videos. I try to post a video once a month between the 1st and the 10th of every month. I missed that. Reason being is I just had gotten back from vacation in England, where I got engaged to my girlfriend, now fiance, which obviously that was a great trip. It was the best part of the trip, one of the best days of my life. So that's the reason for the lateness of this video. And another reason too is just got upgraded to a faster speed internet, but because of modem changes and all this other stuff, I had to go buy a new modem, and it took forever to get it set up. So I didn't have internet. Finally got everything working. So we're back and ready to start posting on a consistent time schedule. So make sure you hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when my future videos drop. And now is a really good time to hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so once you've got your laptop hooked up to your receiver or processor with your HDMI, you've opened up REW, you're going to verify that you have your calibration file for your microphone, your U-MIK 1 or 2 or whatever, uploaded to the software. So we're going to go to Preferences, and go to Cal Files, and we're going to verify. So mic files, U-MIK 1, 90 degree, already uploaded. Okay, so good. You're only going to take these measurements, at least for these purposes, with the 90 degree file, which means the mic is facing directly upwards towards the ceiling. Of course, in your sweet spot. This is the only spot you're going to be taking your measurements from. So let's close this out. Okay, once you've opened up REW, we got to make sure we're outputting to the receiver or processor properly. So you're going to go to Preferences. It's going to be the first page. You're going to go to Output Device. Now on here it's already set, but I'll just show you. You go to Marantz AVR HD Audio for display audio EXCL. This one right here only allows you to do left and right. This one right here lets you do all the channels on your specific receiver, AVR, processor. Click that. You'll know because when you go to the output, it'll show all the different options available to you. If you didn't load the right one, it'll only show left, right, maybe left, right, center. Okay, so we're good there. Now we're going to perform a test before we start measuring. I'm going to bring up the generator and the SPL meter. And we're also going to be checking this also on my SPL meter that I have with me, just to verify that everything is working correctly. So we're going to play some peak noise, and we want to make sure that the receiver is set to give us 75 decibels of peak noise when playing the tone. So we're going to play it. Okay, that looks good. Some people like to measure their stuff a little bit hotter. So if you go 75 to 80, that's perfectly fine. I like where that's set. So we're going to start our measurements. So let's go ahead and close out. And to start taking measurements, you can do it one of two ways. You can obviously just go over, hit measure, or you can hit Control M. So we're going to measure. And here's just a couple things we need to verify before we start measuring. So one, make sure your level is set to negative 12 dBFS. And then we want to make sure we label everything correctly so that you don't get confused or you don't forget what graph represents what. So we're going to start out with the LCRs. So we're going to go left, KEF, if I can type here, 3160 THX. And then when you're taking these measurements, because sometimes REW can do some funny things, it's not always accurate every single time. So that's why you take multiple measurements. For me, I want to take 3 measurements of every speaker, compare to make sure there's no errors or anything going on that's kind of weird. Make sure they all look the same. Then you just delete the last 2 and keep 1 file of each, or 1 graph of each speaker. So it's going to be 7 speakers plus a subwoofer. So 8 measurements in total, 8 graphs. All right, once you have your microphone set up at ear level in your sweet spot, you're ready to start taking measurements. So make sure that you are completely still. Don't move. Try not even to breathe loudly. Make sure you have the house as dead quiet as possible. That's why I like to do this at nighttime when the dogs are asleep. My fiance's in the bedroom. Everything's shut off. Everything's quiet. So we're going to go to repeated measurements instead of a single measurement. And then you can change your start delay and the time in between. So 2-second start delay is what I'm going to do. 3 seconds in between measurements. Okay, guys. So one thing, a little bit of editing magic here, something that you didn't see, parts I'm going to cut out. But when I first did this measurement, I had what looked like this. And I thought, okay, so that's odd. I know my speakers are capable of playing up well into, 22,000 kilohertz, even up to 30, I think. These are the KEF THX 3160 RL in-wall loudspeakers. pretty high-end stuff. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why is it dipping off at around basically 10K and just plummets and doesn't go past 15, even though my sweep that I had set for was starting at 50 hertz all the way up to 20,000 kilohertz. So I found that there was an error in, or not necessarily an error, there was an incorrect setting in my REW preferences that was making it not show up or measure correctly. So I'm keeping this part in here to show you how to fix that if you should have this problem. So what it ended up being was, it was an issue in the preferences sound card with the buffer. I don't know enough about computers to know why. There was an article that I read, and maybe I'll link to that. But basically, it was the buffer size. I had originally had it set for 512. That did not allow me to get proper measurements. So when I set it back down to 128 on the output and 128 on the input buffer, measured just fine. I'll have to do more research as to why that is, and maybe I can link some articles or maybe even videos as to why that is in the description below. But I got that fixed. Now we're going to get back to calibrating, measuring all 7 of my speakers and the subwoofer. So just to show you too, real quick, these both have 124 smoothing applied, by the way. And if you go to the overlays, here's the difference. So the blue you see here, that's where the dip is. When I made my corrections in the preference settings of REW, I got my proper measurements. So that's how you fix that issue should you come up with that with your AV or processor. So let's clear these real quick and start a new measurement. Another thing that I didn't mention before, you can set your sweeps to start measuring from whatever frequency you want to as high as you want. For me, I'm not particularly interested in what my speakers can do below the crossover. Every crossover, for the most part, should be 80. That's where your subwoofer should be taking over. Anything below 80 hertz, your subwoofer takes over. That's pretty standard. That's both the Dolby Atmos and the THX, even IMAX, and they all recommend 80 hertz. So, but just for S's and G's, I am curious as to how low they can play. So I'm going to go down and start all my sweeps at 40 hertz and the end of the sweep at 20,000 kilohertz. So we're going to go to repeated measurements, 3 measurements per speaker, 3-second delay, starting with the left. Let's go. Okay, so we have our first set of measurements for the left speaker. To verify that REW is not doing anything weird, we're going to compare all the measurements. So you'll go to the graph. I like to apply either 1/12 or 24 Smoothing, I'm going to go 24 just to make it easier to read. Now, if you did everything right, when you go to the overlay, they should all more or less look 100% identical with some slight variations, but nothing major. So go to the overlays up here. And as you can see, they all look pretty much identical. Very, very little deviations. So I'm just going to choose between the three. I'm going to choose each time the two measurements, one of the two measurements that look nearly identical to each other. So in this case, it's going to be closest between, I think, green and red. Yeah. So I'll keep green. So we'll close out of that. Delete red, delete purple. Control M, take the next measurement for the next speaker. Make sure you go to the name so you don't get yourself confused and relabel it right. And go to your output right and measure again. Okay, that's done. Let's go ahead and apply smoothing and compare. There's a nice handy shortcut for that. Control Shift 8. Whoops. Overlay. Let's go ahead and turn off the green. Okay, this is much better than the left. They all are nearly identical. For this one, I'm going to keep yellow. All right, next speaker. On to the center. Okay. Control Shift 8 for applying 1/24 smoothing. Let's go to overlays. Again, looking very good. Nearly identical. For this one, we will keep purple. Next speaker. Okay. Smoothing. Overlay. Again, they all look really good. That's exactly what you want. We'll keep red. Next speaker. Okay. Overlay. Get rid of red. Very good. We will keep blue. Okay. Very good. This is exactly what you want. All the graphs looking pretty much identical. Let's go ahead and keep the lighter green. You can go in and change these colors later. I'll show you how to do that. All right, smoothing. And this one is really good. Let's go ahead and we'll keep the darker purple. Okay, last but not least, the subwoofer. Almost made a no-no. Once again, I'm actually going to keep this in there. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Don't send high frequencies to your subwoofer. You could potentially damage it. So when you go to measure your subwoofer, Control M, I was in such a rush. That could have been bad. I had it set for 20,000 kilohertz. Subwoofer's not meant to play that high. Never try to make it go that high. So for this, we're going to set it to, I don't even think this particular subwoofer can play down to 10 that loud, but we're going to start at 10. Crossover frequency is 80, but I'm just curious as to what it does in the 100 hertz range. So we'll go up to 100 hertz. Okay, all done. These, because there's so little information, you don't really need to apply smoothing. We go to overlays to check everything. Perfect. These ones are all 100% identical. Let's go ahead and keep the orange. All right, so now that we got all 7 bed layer speakers measured and the subwoofer, we're ready to take a look at the data. First of all, if you want to change the color, you can just go to this little pencil mark and change it to any color you want on the color wheel spectrum. So make them all different so you can differentiate them. So we got green, yellow. We got this orange. Let's change this one. Let's give this one a gray. Green, purple, red, yellow, orange. Okay, cyan. All right, now here in the overlays tab, this is where you can compare and toggle on and off any of the measurements you took. So here's my subwoofer. And as you can see, at 10 hertz, we got around 76 dB. Decent frequency response here. At 16, we got 86. Across here, this is pretty flat and nice. The roll off is at 80. And then I don't really care what it does between 80 and 100, but I just kind of wanted to see what it does. Okay. So not bad. We could probably get better output. And well, I know we can get better output and a flatter response if I had two subwoofers. Unfortunately, right now I only have the one REW 12-inch. I have a Klipsch 12-inch that I may or may not reincorporate back into the system, but I want matching subs. So we'll see if I can get my hands on another REW subwoofer. For now, the one is just fine. Let's toggle everything back on. Center, right. Actually, sorry, left, right, center, back left, back right, surround left, surround right, all 8. Across the entire frequency range. That is not bad, actually. Keep in mind, this is 24, 1/24 smoothing applied, but that is not bad. Some things here we can fix with EQ, get it pretty flat. Overall, there's nothing that's super concerning. May have some room modes around 122. Center channel is doing something interesting around 500 hertz. But yeah, not too bad. And all the way up to 20,000 kilohertz. Pretty flat between 13 to 20. Well, maybe around 18 it starts to dip down. Okay. Perfect. So, with that information, in the next video in this series, we will go in detail over every frequency response graph, try to understand it, what it means, and what we can do to fix some of it with EQ. Okay, guys, so that wraps it up for this video. Like I said, in the next video, we'll go over the data, analyze it, understand it, and then use that information to calibrate my receiver with the Odyssey Multi-EQ XT32 app for iPhone. So please leave a like if you enjoyed the content in this video. Please leave me a comment. I love reading them, genuinely constructive or not. I love it all. I love having a dialogue with you guys and answering any questions. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to make that push to 5,000 subscribers and above. Once we get to 5,000 subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway on my channel. I'll be giving away this 30-meter 2.1 HDMI fiber optic cable to a lucky subscriber once we hit 5,000 subs. So until next time, thank you very much for watching and happy listening.